One of the first questions people ask me when they get into trading is, what should I actually trade? Should I trade Forex? Should I trade stocks, crypto, maybe indices, gold, oil? And there's so many markets available now that beginner traders often feel overwhelmed before they even start trading. And the thing is, there isn't one perfect market for everyone because different markets behave differently. They move in different speeds, they have different risks, they have different advantages and disadvantages, different personalities. So in this video, I want to walk you through 3 markets that retail traders, or most retail traders, end up looking at: Forex, stocks, and crypto. And we're going to talk about how each one works, the advantages, the disadvantages, and what type of trader each market tends to suit. In this video, I'm going to focus on these 3, but I have, however, done a video on which is better to trade, Forex versus futures, where I cover all the differences on those 2, and you can go and watch that one there. All right, let's start with Forex. So Forex is the largest financial market in the world. Currencies are being exchanged globally every single day through governments and banks and corporations and investment funds and retail traders like me and you, and they're all participating in the same market. So the daily volume in Forex is estimated to be somewhere around $7 trillion per day. And what that means is trades can usually be entered and exited very easily with very little friction. Now, the most common pairs that you'll see traded are things like the euro dollar, the pound dollar, and the dollar yen. And these are known as the major currency pairs. And because they're traded so heavily, the spreads are usually very, very small, which is great for traders. Now, another advantage with Forex trading is accessibility. You can also trade with a relatively small account or small accounts, and you can trade 24 hours a day during the week. And another one is that most brokers are fairly flexible with position sizing. But Forex does also have some challenges, and that's that the market can be heavily influenced by things like interest rates, central bank policy, economic data, and things like that. And what that means is there's sometimes some big moves can happen very, very quickly. So it's important to understand what drives currency markets, because you want to make sure that you're factoring that into your trade plan. But overall, Forex tends to attract traders who like liquid markets and like flexible trading hours. That's the big one for me. So now let's talk about stocks. Stocks are simply ownership in companies. And when you buy a stock, you're buying a small share of that company. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon, and so on. Now, the stock market has some advantages. It has some unique advantages. One is it's the biggest long-term growth. Over long periods of time, stock markets have historically trended upwards as economies grow, which means stocks can be traded actively. But they can also be held as long-term investments. Now, a big advantage, in my opinion, is negentropy. Now, when something has entropy, it means it decays and it becomes more disordered and there's more chaos to the thing. Well, negentropy is the opposite. It means that it's always growing and evolving. So when I look at the chart of, say, the S&P 500, a stock chart of the 500 top performing businesses in the world, I see human innovation. That is something that's always continuously evolving and growing and adapting, with bright minds behind boardroom tables getting together and mapping out how they can innovate and how they can beat competition and how they can solve big problems. And that's all happening sometimes whilst I'm asleep. So when you put your money into a stock, I see this very negentropic action taking place where my money is moving towards where I want it to go, rather than, say, paying for a property which is decaying and there's always repairs, and as soon as you put that brick down, it's decaying in the sun, or as soon as you fix the roof, it's now, dissolving in the weather, and you put a fence up and it's rotting, whereas stock market is growing and evolving. So I look at stocks as human evolution.